Good afternoon, this is Lynx. I'm doing a video here on one of the biggest questions I get for readers starting out, or even readers who are professional who've been reading a long time. How do you handle medical advice? Especially if the situation looks kind of hopeless, kind of desperate, kind of unusual, like it doesn't look like it's going to turn out well for them. And what do you do in those situations where people are asking you for advice and asking you for direction? Well, the first thing I'm going to say is if you don't understand medicine and you're not a doctor, then don't give any medical advice. It's a no-brainer. If you're a reader and someone is asking you for a course of treatment, make it clear that that's probably not the best use for your talents. However, you can read for people in an area which shows or maybe sheds light on what's going on in a current course of treatment. Now, there's quite a few areas right now that people are struggling in. People are struggling with their health, they're struggling in their careers, they're struggling in education, because what's happening is in those particular situations and areas, people are finding that it's getting more and more limited what the options are, and there's more and more restrictions that are being placed on them. So they're finding that they have very little room to grow and or move. So in a lot of cases, people will come to you for a reading. So is it your job in those cases to be able to figure out how to completely undo the whole system? Probably not. But what you can do as a reader in those situations is you can actually show the hypocrisy or show the system for the corruption that it is. Because in a lot of cases, you shedding light on or confirming their suspicion will give them the strength that they need to be able to take action that they think is appropriate in their life. I'm going to show you something in relation to a reading I had for a client who had a health problem. Now, this particular client was wondering about where his current course of treatment was going because he was having a lot of trouble finding wellness. So what came up in my handy Lenormand cards, this is my fairy tale Lenormand, we had the ship and the mountain, the bouquet and the anchor, the contract or the rings and the rider, and the fox and the scythe. So now what it indicated in this particular case, and I'll show you how you might go about reading something like this, is in this particular case it showed obstacles to his healing or his deep healing or moving forward in a positive direction. As he went on and moves on, what he's going to find is his pleasure of living or his quality of living is being weighed down more and more and more. This one's kind of tricky because it suggests actually the interference of an insurance company as well and the slippery or slick or moving nature of the contract that he signed. In other words, what he signed up for in this contract with the doctors and the insurance company isn't what it's going to be. It's going to move. What he thought it was going to be is going to move out from under him. And really what happens in the end is they're going to push him towards another surgery, which was the very thing he didn't want to see. Now, what do you do in that situation? And it can be very simple or it can be very complicated depending upon how you approach it. In that particular case, you could freak out and you could tell yourself, oh my God, I'm supposed to tell this person how they're supposed to heal. Not necessarily, and actually, in most cases, probably not. What you can say, or how you can approach it, for example, is by asking, what's the motivation behind this surgery and this contract with the medical industry? The mice. So in this particular case, the mice would be thievery, loss, and taking what isn't theirs. So the motivation behind what the medical institution is doing to this individual is actually not on the up and up. So in this particular case, what you can do is you can show the individual the motivation behind whatever contract they're in. In some cases, to be able to show the person that the system that they're in is either corrupt or doesn't have their best interest may be the most powerful thing you can do, because you can empower them to not make a mistake. So, when you get a client that asks you something that seems like all the things are stacked against them, or like it's a catch-22, maybe the best thing you can tell them in that situation is that it's a catch-22. If they ask you how to make a relationship that's not working work because really everything's stacked against it, sometimes it's easiest to say, looks like everything's stacked against it. Or how do I heal in this system that's actually destroying me or stealing from me? Maybe you should say, you don't. This one is going to destroy you and or take everything you've got. Sometimes the best thing you can do is tell them exactly what the bad news is or how bad it's going to get. And that's when you're really doing your job, by telling you, this is what I feel and this is what I see happening. This is not going to be a good outcome for you. This is going to be a loss. So, I hope that helps with this question. How do you handle medical situations or medical questions? No one is asking you to come up with a cure, especially if you're not a doctor. In fact, there are cures out there right now that doctors aren't even giving their clients. And if you use your cards and look into those, you'll see in what situations that's true. So that is my approach to how to handle those questions. I'm Lucky Links, as always, wishing you success and good fortune in all you do. Put your questions in the things below, and as always, I'll do my best to answer. Now, on a side note, in relation to this particular question, in relation to a sham or a corrupt medical system, I just started a Facebook on this particular topic, because I, as a hypnotist, and I, as someone who does readings for people, am always seeing how horribly the medical institution and other institutions are treating people. So if you'd like to join that Facebook group, I'm putting the link in the description below, along with the name of the group. Just click on it, go to the Facebook group and join, and we will talk more about it. If you have any horrible stories about the way this particular industry has treated you, please join the group and share to help make other people aware. This is one of the ways that I'm working at trying to change that system that I'm always seeing people get stuck in. Because it's one thing to be able to read for people and tell them what you see. It's another thing to take action on the side to change those things. So what we're doing right now is we're creating a group of people to be more aware of what's really going on in those systems and what's really going on in the healing industry with people, and how people are being abused in it, and how people are actually being tortured and having everything taken from them that needs not to be taken and shouldn't be taken from them. So, as always, again, I'm Lucky Links, wishing you success and good fortune in all that you do. Feel free to join that other Facebook group. I'll put the link in the description below. And have a wonderful day.